Appeals to order. Could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Mr. Poland, you have some comments to make at this time?
Yes,
Recording in progress.
I'd like to bring to the attention of the BZA members that we have two new members with us this evening in chambers. We have, and please introduce yourself.
My name is Cynthia Hassel.
Okay. And then online, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Victor Lopez. Sorry I couldn't be there today. Had a prior work obligation for traveling.
Okay. So welcome to both of you.
Will we get as far as a new list of people at our next meeting?
Yes.
Thank you. Could we have a roll call, please?
Here.
William Hutton,
Here.
Cynthia Hassel,
Present.
Victor Lopez,
Here.
Kathleen Hill.
Here.
5 present, we have a quorum.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is election of officers for the 2024 year.
Would you like
We
me-
have two officers, one is the president, and we then have a,
Okay. Madam,
yes.
would you like me to conduct the elections for
You
chairperson?
are
and
more
vi-
than welcome to,
It's
Mr.
chairperson
Poland.
and vice chairperson. So are there any nominations for chairperson? Any nominations for chairperson? Any nominations for chairperson?
Mr. Poland, I would like to nominate Kathleen Hill as chairperson.
Okay, we have a nomination for Kathy Hill. Is there a second for the nomination?
I second that.
Okay. Are there any other further nominations being for chairperson? Okay, therefore being no other nominations, could we have a roll call vote for Kathy Hill as the chairperson?
Roger Brock,
Yes.
William Hutton,
Yes.
Cynthia Hassel,
Yes.
Victor Lopez,
Yes.
Kathleen Hill.
Guess I will say yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, motion passed.
Okay. Are there any nominations for vice chairperson?
Mr. Poland, I would like to make a motion to nominate Roger Brock as chairperson.
Second.
I'm not sure that the chair can second.
What?
Since he's not here.
I know, I'm not sure that the chair can second.
Oh, okay.
I can second.
Okay. So we have a nomination for Roger Brock as the vice chairperson. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Being no other nominations, could we have a roll call vote for the vice chairperson, Roger Brock?
Roger Brock,
Yes.
William Hutton,
Yes.
Cynthia Hassel,
Yes.
Victor Lopez,
Yes.
Kathleen Hill.
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, motion passed.
Okay. Madam Chairperson, the elections are complete.
Okay, and we will move to the fourth item on the agenda, which are the approvals of the minutes for December 5th, 2023 meeting.
I'd like to make that motion.
I'd like to second that.
We have a motion and a second. Could we have a roll call vote?
Roger Brock,
Yes.
William Hutton,
Yes.
Cynthia Hassel,
Yes.
Victor Lopez,
Yes.
Kathleen Hill.
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, motion passed.
We will move to old business, and there are seeing none. Are there anything that has come up?
There's no old business.
Okay, we'll move to new business. We have two items on the agenda which are very similar. Is it okay if I read both of them, take one at a time for voting?
Yes.
Okay. First item is Z-24-01, petition of Raha Sahib, Inc. for a conditional use regarding Title Section 10.11, Parens 3, automobile fueling station to allow reconstruction of a 2,800 square foot convenience store as an accessory use and to continue operating an existing combination automobile fueling station in a C4 General Commercial District located at 7316 Indianapolis Boulevard in the city of Hammond. The second item is Z-24-02, petition of Raha Sahib, Inc. for a developmental variance regarding Title Section TS 10, 31, parent C, yard requirement, rear yard setback to allow for the reconstruction of a convenience store with reduction in rear yard setback less than 25 feet in a C4 General Commercial District located at 7316 Indianapolis Boulevard in the city of Hammond. Have all notification requirements been met for
Yes,
both
they-
of them?
Yes, they have.
All right. Would the petitioner like to come up and talk about both of them? And understand we will take them separately then, okay?
We could do them concurrently because they're both the same, but I don't know if
The
that's...
request is that you can make your presentation concurrently as long as you distinctly talk about the conditional use and then you distinctly talk about the setback variance. The board has to act on them separately.
Okay, I understand that.
Okay.
And I'll, whatever the board requests. And I'll do them, concurrently, discuss both of them, but I know you'll have to act on each item individually. Okay, my name is Jeff Brand. I'm with Brand Construction. My address is 5201 Fountain Drive in Ground Point, Indiana. I am here tonight representing the petitioners who are sitting here right behind us that are available to answer any specific questions you might have regarding this project. But we're here tonight to seek a conditional use permit to modify the existing combination automobile fueling station and convenience store in a C4 district. The petitioners are proposing to demolish their existing convenience store and gas station, or convenience store and car wash, and to just remove that facility and build about a 2,800 square foot facility, which the plans were provided to this board.
And that facility would only be convenience store.
Correct. The car wash will no longer be, will be part of this
Okay.
new project. The petitioners are not going to change anything with the fueling pumps. They're going to leave that all alone. They are going to do, based upon our meetings with the city, and I want to thank Brian and Tom and everybody on your building design team for all the help and time they put in to this project to get us to this point today, because it's been a long process, and I think we've gotten everything resolved with the help of the Plan Commission, the planners. But they want to build a one-story building. It's approximately 2,800 square feet. They want to, the first thing is with the, I'm not quite sure how you do it, but it's a conditional use permit amending the previous conditional use permit that was in place on the site. And I don't know exactly how you want to explain that, but that's what they're wanting to do. And they're going to do some things to the facility to upgrade the systems there. One of them is very important, that they have an oil and water separator, and when they redo this facility, they're going to make sure, or they're going to install a turn-off valve or turn-off switch inside of the new store, which isn't there at this time. The other second thing they're going to do is they're going to amend the fencing that's along the alley to meet the new requirements that the city of Hammond requires. I think it's got to be an 8-foot fence. And they will remove the existing fence and replace it to meet that requirement for the town or the city. And another positive thing is without the car wash there, it'll reduce a lot of noise for the adjacent property owners that could be impacted currently by the operation of the car wash. We've submitted some plans to, I'm sure Mr. Novak has submitted all of them to,
Yeah,
they
got the elevation drawings
okay.
and the site plan.
So we've submitted elevation plans and we've submitted a site plan, and the building itself, we're going to expand the parking to like 13 parking spaces. We're going to address all of the handicap accessibility that was discussed with Mr. Poland and Mr. Novak. The new structure will be a masonry structure with glass. I want to go through this. We're going to try to increase the perimeter landscaping to a 2,660 square feet from the 1,444 square feet that's there existing. And that's really about what we're planning to do with this first process of the plan. And I'm here to answer any questions that you might have regarding this portion of the presentation.
Okay, you want to explain as far as the variance for the rear yard setback?
Actually,
now,
Madam
or
Chairman,
what?
I think it's appropriate to pause before we do that because I need to address something with him, but I think the board should ask their questions first.
Okay. The only question I would have, the convenience store also would be taking the people who come in and buy gas, and they would be going in the convenience store to make payments if they're paying by cash or anything like that.
That's correct.
Okay.
Could you speak to the facade details when it comes to the windows that face to the pump islands versus facing the street?
The petitioner's intentions are to have the windows that are represented in the drawing, and could add more, but the most important thing is that they're planning not to block the windows as many stations have done in the future or in the past, so that if there is an issue at the station, if first responders arrive, they'll be able to see inside the facility to make sure to evaluate the situation that's there. But yes, they will definitely not, I don't know what you say, to put the screens and things in front of the window, but they'll have full visibility. And they'll also have windows facing the Indianapolis side of the road also.
Okay, can you clarify what windows are facing Indianapolis Boulevard?
Pardon?
Can you be more specific as to what's facing Indianapolis Boulevard?
You're saying what size are the windows?
Help explain how you are meeting the requirement of the conditional use for the windows that face the public street.
We're planning to add, currently there are no windows on the facility facing Indianapolis Boulevard. We're planning to add,
Wait, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm not reading this drawing right. This east elevation.
is that the
No,
wrong
he said
one?
he said currently. He said
My
currently.
apologies. My apologies.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, so they're planning to add, originally we were doing, facing the Indianapolis side of the road, there was going to be their counter and their purchasing and where you buy your materials of that. We've reversed the plan of the floor plan so that the windows facing Indianapolis Boulevard will be set up so that they've got their counter space there so that it's, if you come in and want to get a coffee or whatever people do there, they'll have visual to Indianapolis Boulevard.
Right, so how many windows are facing Indianapolis Boulevard?
Right now, we've got 6 windows in that one section facing Indianapolis Boulevard.
Okay. 6 locations or 6 panes within one location?
6 panes within one location.
Okay, and so, Mr. Novak, help us out here.
Well, yeah, so I recall that you originally had one set of windows in the front, and we had you add one to the rear as a faux window, which, again, shouldn't be covered with any advertisements, as you described. But we had you double the windows so that they're symmetrical and that they meet the 5%
Correct.
wall coverage. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so there's one set of 3 that is clear glass that can see into the store, and there's another set of 3 that are the faux windows. Is that correct?
I was not aware of any faux windows. in
Yeah,
this-
but they are there.
Pardon?
Yeah, there's a set of 6 faux windows in the back, blacked out, they call it.
Okay,
Okay, so it's 6 panes in each location, correct?
Yes,
And when one's a set of faux windows, correct?
and one of them is, yes.
Is it, okay, all right. That's in the facade, the elevation, correct? Tom?
Yes, it is represented in the east elevation.
Okay.
It's labeled. And I will also note that the window by the cashier's side is bulletproof glass.
yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Can I ask if they will be bulletproof glass?
Yeah, only at the cashier windows.
Oh, at the cashier's windows.
Where is the cashier?
The cashier will be on the west side. If you come into the building, the cashier area will be on the front west, would be the northwest corner of the facility. Which would
But
be,
that would be in the front.
yes,
Is there a window part of the cashier on the north side then?
yes.
Yes, yeah. And I recall you guys switched it then so that a tenant's back wouldn't be to a window or anything like that.
Correct.
So that's safer now, they can look out without having someone maybe looking at them.
Yes,
okay, so the cashier is and the footprint of the building is in the northwest corner of the building, which is on the west side of the property facing the pump islands. The window that faces Indianapolis Boulevard will not be the cashier.
the window, when you walk in the facility, immediately when you walk in to the west, or would be to the client's right, they would walk in and the cashier would be right there. And then the cashier has a window view looking out over all the pumps and would have a view of, so he has a view, and the bulletproof glass would allow him a view of everybody occupying and using the convenience store.
Yeah, I think we're clear on that point. What I'm trying to get at is, again, the window that faces Indianapolis Boulevard will be clear, and what is in the floor plan at that location?
In the floor plan at that location is a counter area where people would come in and they would get coffee. It's a coffee area. It would be a coffee or convenient.
The pop machines,
Pop
the coffee.
dispenser, coffee. Yeah, I don't know exactly what you're going to have at that, but it'd be coffee of the juice machine. Fountain, the soda fountain machine and things like that.
Okay, my only concern is, and I don't want to necessarily belabor this, but the bottom of that window, according to the facade, is 3 foot 4 inches. And so if you have a counter there that is limited to 40 inches of height, and you can't have anything above that, because that would block the window. So do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and if it's the board wishes, we would be glad to increase the height of the window on the Indianapolis side if required.
It's not a question of whether it's required, it's what a question is of what you're presenting. You're presenting a facade that has the bottom of the windows relatively the same between the two facades.
Correct.
And just by my experience in a convenience store, with the way those machines are designed for dispensing, I am concerned that the machine will block the windows.
We understand your concern.
But would there be machines against that wall or towards the center
Well,
of the building?
that's kind of what I'm trying to get at, because you say there's a counter, and then you say it's a pop dispenser. Pop dispensers are typically on top of a counter or of a counter height, because a person is standing to access them. So if that's the case, then potentially that machine is blocking the window.
That, potentially, that is correct.
So that is an issue now, because you are told that you can't block the windows.
But I've gone into convenience stores like that, traveling, where the dispenser, the coffee and the pop and things like that are not against, stacking on a counter there across from something in their own stand.
Yeah, so maybe you can make an island where they are instead of a countertop in the center.
We could
I mean, I'm
definitely
sure
do an
there's
island if that's.
Something, yeah.
If the board so desires, we would be glad to do an island there in lieu of the counter.
I think it's important for everybody to understand the issue is not for the board to tell you how to redo your floor plan. What the issue of the board is to tell you that you can't block the window.
Correct.
How you accomplish that is, in order to answer our question, you have to tell us how you're going to accomplish that. So it sounds like that what I'm hearing is seems like a conflict and a contradiction that the items on top of the counter will be blocking the windows.
Well, one option that we can present to this commission is that we could go towards the south end of, in the frontage along the south end, add some more windows if so desired, kind of higher up above the because we have the counter, the area for the fountains, then we have two bathrooms, and it's not appropriate to have bathrooms, windows in the bathrooms, and then we have, we could put an island there in lieu of the counter.
Would
Okay.
it be possible to put a conditional use in at this time where they get back to you as far as how they will organize or how they will design so the window there is not blocked?
Okay, ideally, we should have had an answer to this question for tonight, and we should not be in a position of putting either additional conditions on it or even staff requesting it for it to be tabled. So I'm really concerned about where this is going, and I'm really caught, and I don't know what to do.
I think the island solution is very reasonable. People do it commonly. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any, and then that counter would just be where you put the napkins and things like that. Now, or you just have it, I don't know.
I think
I've
there's.
seen that setup.
I'm sorry, I think there are probably several more items to go along with this. It's not only the windows on the east side, but it's the windows on the north side. And that's a lot of countertop space with a lot of dispensary equipment that's going to have some thought to go into this.
Okay.
And I
Yes,
would feel a
yes.
lot more comfortable having that resolved rather than saying, we're going to build an island out in the middle of the ocean.
Well, remove the counters, open up the
Right.
space. I get it.
Okay, so
Would you see any reason why there couldn't be a conditional
No,
use added to this?
I prefer not to have any conditional
Any
connections to this,
additional conditional use?
because I have several other questions I'd like to ask after we get off at this time.
okay, so why don't we go to your other questions right now?
Yes.
I just want to be certain that we're talking about the same thing. You're talking about bulletproof glass. Is that right?
We're talking about bulletproof glass, not around the,
No, I understand that part, around the attendant.
Yes,
Bulletproof,
yes.
okay. What happens with the doors, the glass in the doors?
The glass, the two entry doors,
Yes. Is that also bulletproof?
the last facility we did in Hammond, the entry door was not bulletproof.
Okay.
I was not planning on putting bulletproof glass in the entry doors.
What about the glazing on top of the counter of the attendant?
That will be bulletproof.
What happens below the countertop?
It will be, I haven't got that far yet, but it'll be a structure that will be designed so that you can't take a gun and shoot it through the, well, is that correct?
We could put a metal plate like we done before. They put a, like a, thick plate of metal, then they put the brick on top.
So, if I may, Mr. Hutton, that's not a BZA question. It's
Okay.
about the bulletproof glass.
I'll stand down.
But we understand that, and the petitioner understands the safety of their employees, and it's very important for their safety to make sure that the glazing in that cashier's area is bulletproof and
Understood.
protected.
Other questions?
I'm good, thank you.
So I pose the question to the board. Staff has raised this concern about a floor plan arrangement that may lead to the blocking of windows on facing Indianapolis or windows being blocked facing to the north. I am open to suggestions on how you want to proceed on this.
I'd like to see nothing connected to this, and I think some more, how should I say this? I think Jeff needs to go back and look at how this resolution will come about and how he's going to present it to the board. When you talk about a number of dispensary items, drains, power requirements, et cetera, I just want to make sure that you've got this figured out so that we are not being forced to make a decision on the spur of the moment or on the fly.
But should we
So I guess where I'm going with my comment is I'd like for fellow commissioners to consider tabling this, and
But are we responsible for how they design the inside of their
no, we're not
facility?
responsible for that. As Brian said, Madam Chairperson, we're just here to enforce the rules, the regulations, and the ordinances set before us. And that is, we cannot block the windows, but according to these drawings, the windows are being blocked.
Well, I have one question here. You've got a 5% window requirement. Is that basically on Indianapolis Boulevard?
Yes.
So maybe one option would be is we put the windows, more windows, and elevate them. I could put some windows above the bathroom area, but would not be, you couldn't access it and see it. You're concerned about if someone's there, you want to be able to look in to make sure that for your first responders would be able to get in and take a look and see what's going inside the facility.
From an architectural response to your question, anything is certainly possible. The problem is that we don't know what that is right now. And so I am sorry to suggest, but I think, Mr. Hutton, your idea of tabling is appropriate. But before you do that, I think the other item that I want to make sure that we're discussing is the petitioner very clear on the hours of operation conversation that is in the staff report?
Yes.
Okay, so for the record, the discussion has been that the Board of Works granted the exception to not, the exception of not having 20, anyway, you're allowed to have 24 hours of operation according to the Board of Works exemption. That, by obligation with the Board of Works, is an annual request, and they have to meet certain requirements that the Board of Works sets. So the zoning ordinance says that if you have a gas station next to a residential zone, you close at 10 and you open at 6. So we have a precedent with another gas station that was near a residential district that we agreed to modify those hours to say close at 12, open at 4. What the staff is indicating that as long as they get the continuing annual exemption from the Board of Works that will rule. What we want, the staff is advocating that as a backup plan, should they fail, that instead of the 10 to 6, staff is recommending the 12 to 4. And do you understand that? Okay.
And I believe that once, it'll take probably from today, it'll probably take close to a year to get this facility operational. And based upon your comments, they'll have to come back into the city again to, I guess, renew or reevaluate their hours of operation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Once a year beforehand, so it would expire so this December it will expire. Let them know 60 days before that you want to have a hearing. So, yeah. And they'll get you on an agenda.
Sure.
So if this is tabled until the next meeting, would the additional conditions under the staff report be taken care of also? Because you have 11 conditions with your recommendations. Would some of those also be taken care of?
You guys didn't have any objections to the other conditions, right?
No.
Okay.
But would they be taken care of in the additional information they would be presenting?
I mean, I'm not sure if they could get more ADA design information by then or things like that, but if they're able to, I think that's encouraged.
There's a lot of already conditionals.
Well, yes, and
That we still have to be taken care of, that's why.
no, and a number of these
Those
conditions
could
are
be
something that will
also added
apply
to that.
always, not just, things they need to take care of.
I mean,
Well, I was just asking a question.
no, and I mean, without going through all of them, I mean, they've indicated from the beginning that they would agree to the 8-foot fence. So,
Yes.
and that, we do need to see a lighting plan. And we just talked about the hours of operation. We had extensive conversation about the windows and so in essence, these items need to be stated because those are are operational things or steps that need, further information we need, or these are conditions of operation that would need to be still in the report.
So when you meet with them again in regard to the windows, if this is tabled and you get the information you need on the tables, you could also deal with the other recommendations.
That's theoretically possible, but I don't see that there's any reason to do that for any of the others.
Can I ask one question? Why can't we show the Knox box on the elevations? How hard is that?
Well, we can get that fixed, yeah.
How hard is it?
We would be glad, we are going to furnish a knock box. If you'd like me to provide a knock box on the elevation in the location that meets your fire department's requirements, not a problem.
Show the center line of the mounting height, make sure it fits. Might not fit on your north elevation.
That being said, that certainly is something that they can comply with, but nonetheless, the condition would not be removed just because it's on the drawing.
Thank you. I'd just like to see it, picture guy.
Fair point, but I just want to make it clear. Not to belabor this anymore, but, if the BZA is comfortable with going forward with this under the conditions, and then we're allowing the staff to revisit the window item, there's always that as a possibility too. So it's what the board's comfortable with.
Now, if Z2401 is tabled would that also infer that the next item would should be tabled at the same time? Or could that be continued so they have the setback taken care of? Or what's the preference of the,
Mr. Pullen, what is the setback? I know what the requirement is, but what is it, or Mr. Novak, what's the setback?
It's 12 feet.
I didn't see that on a drawing anywhere. I was trying to find that. Maybe you can help me. I don't know how.
Yeah, you have to read the 11 foot and then the 1 foot over for the dumpster.
Oh, so I have to add those two numbers together? Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So as far as the chairperson's question that she posed goes back to why I said that if the board wants to act upon the conditional use and then defer the window issue for the staff to resolve, you can do that, and therefore you would want to hear the second case and deal with the variance. If you want to table that, then our past precedent has been not to hear the second case, but you have the right to hear the second case if you choose.
so basically,
I would certainly like to hear Roger, others, speak up about this. Some help?
we have two members that have
Yeah,
started working with us too. They have no idea what in the world going on right now.
Yeah, one wants to speak.
Okay.
Go ahead.
no, I think, like I said, based on what I heard, maybe it's better the table come back with some other drawings and then just do it all at once versus kind of in pieces, right? That's my own thinking right now. Whole package versus approve this, approve that, just a whole package.
So we still have several options. Table both of them at this time. Referred as far as having the staff work in regard to the windows and move on with them both, or what? What's your preference, Mr. Hutton?
My preference is probably not to table the second one. If Brian and Tom and others are okay with the change in the rear setback,
Okay, I would suggest that someone make a motion as to what you want to do and vote it up or down, because either way, the staff will work with it.
thank you very much. I make a motion that we table this, get these corrections made, and everybody on the same page so we can see the same picture, same time.
Is your recommendation to table Z-24-01 as well as Z-24-02? Would you like to amend it?
I second that.
Well, wait, we still don't
Hold
have a
on.
motion.
Oh, sorry.
Can I make a motion for two different cases at the same time?
If you state your motion clearly and distinctly,
Because we don't have one motion made to either case yet.
okay, that's confused, okay. Is your motion intending to table one or both?
One.
Okay.
Then make it a separate motion.
For Z-24-01.
That's correct.
We have a motion to table Z-2401 until our next meeting, correct?
If the petitioner can make these changes clear enough for everybody to understand it, get it reissued again, yes. I'd like to have it at the next meeting, yes.
Which should be on March 26th. Does that give you time?
It would give us ample time.
Or would you prefer a table to April
He said
30th?
he'll
Okay,
gives them ample time.
okay.
We're very fine with that. The
Okay.
only thing the petitioner would request, based upon our meeting tonight, was we've get I'll meet with Tom or to make sure we have all these items, a distinct list of items so that we can address those. So when we come back in the March meeting, we'll have it all done and give it to you in ample time ahead of time to review everything.
Okay, so we have a motion to table Z-24-01 until our next meeting.
Was there a second?
We don't have a second
I
yet.
will second that.
We have a second. Do we have a roll call vote?
Cynthia Hassel,
Yes.
Victor Lopez,
Yes.
Roger Brock,
Yes.
William Hutton.
Yes.
Kathleen Hill.
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, motion passed.
Okay, we will see you back next month in regard to Z-24-01 after you meet with the committee.
We'll be glad to
Easy.
come back and have everything prepared for you to address the issues that you brought up tonight regarding the windows and the knock box and all, and what other issues that you want to see on the drawing.
Okay, now do we have a motion in regard to the Z-24-02, or shall we continue with our next item?
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I would like to amend the variance.
continue it?
Yes.
I can't hear over here.
She would like to continue.
I would like to continue.
Closer
Okay.
to the microphone.
I would like to continue.
Okay, thank you.
So would you like to give us their information in regard to Z-2402 regarding the setback requirements for the rear yard setback?
Again, my name is Jeff Brand. I'm here on behalf of the petitioners, and we're requesting a 12-foot setback between the west wall of the new convenience store and the west property line. That would accommodate the larger convenience store. Again, the benefits are is that the car wash will no longer be on-site and operational, and it was probably a benefactor for all the neighbors because they won't hear the car wash. That would be our request for the rear, or the west setback.
And for the record, the variance is from 25 feet to 12 feet. Is that correct, Tom?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay, any questions from members?
I'm sorry, no question.
Any questions from anybody on the screen?
No.
Okay, hearing none.
No.
Do you have any other thing you'd like to say about it before we open it to public questions?
And one of the things that we will provide is a photometric plan so that you will all, this commission will be able to see how the lighting affects the property and the neighbors that are to the west of the property. And we'll provide that.
And just to be clear for the record, so the reason we're setting this build, or you guys have set the building over to less than the 25 feet is so that you could fit more parking, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah. So the net gain in this is that we go from 6 to 13 spaces.
Correct.
Okay. And then there used to be a drive aisle on that side, but now there'll just be green space, right?
Yes,
And the
there'll
dump.
be no drive around or drive by or,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay. Do we have anybody in the public that would like to express anything pro or con? Anyone in the public? Anyone in the public? Then I will close public comments.
Madam
Before we
Chairman-
go farther
Madam
on,
Chairperson.
yes.
When you do that, you need to say anybody online.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anybody online? I didn't see anybody online that was on there.
Doesn't matter. You need to make it up.
Okay. Anyone online? Anyone online? Anyone online? We will officially close public comments. Before we have the staff report and before we do anything in regard to this, is the staff recommendation under page 2, where number 1 is the case number correct or incorrect?
No, it's incorrect. It should say 1.
What?
It should say 1. You're correct.
So can we even handle this then?
Well, we can edit the,
Because everything, as far as for the approval.
well, I get it. The approval itself is written that we need the,
So we can make a technical correction.
her question is, if you're not approving Z2401 right now, can you approve Z2402?
That's
given
my question.
one
That's
of the-
definitely it.
one of the
You
conditions.
you can state it as is with the understanding that it won't go into effect until the first one is decided upon.
Okay.
So that comes from the board and not from the staff, correct?
The changing of the rewording
Well,
of
the
it?
changing and the conditions.
Because it did notice it does say approval of development, and I apologize, but it says, it should say approval of conditional use permit case
Yes,
number
it should.
Z2401.
And
Yeah.
actually, I'll take responsibility because I didn't think that was.
And I think under 3, as far as our findings of fact, under 3A, we might want to change the name of the street or the avenue.
Oh. Well, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so let me suggest.
Okay, so we can go, yes.
So
Where's
let
your
me
suggestion,
suggest
Mr.
is
Boland?
that what you should have done is allowed us to make the presentation and then ask these questions, and we could have addressed it
I
at that time,
apologize.
okay? So we're at the point of making a staff report.
Okay?
Yeah, I can read it, and I'll read it as we just amended it. So staff recommendation reads that the staff has reviewed the petitioner's request and recommends that the BZA grant the developmental variance for the 12-foot rear yard setback. Should the board feel the petitioner has met the standards, subject to conditions: 1, approval of conditional use permit case number Z-24-01. 2, installation and maintenance of only green space and a compliant dumpster enclosure and an 8-foot barrier fence within the rear yard.
Okay, board members have any comments?
No comment.
The-
No.
The action before the board is whether or not you're going to accept the amended staff report into the record, or you want to hear the findings of fact and have us correct the findings of fact first.
What would be your preference, Mr. Poland?
Let's go with the fact that we're amending the report first, and then we'll deal with the findings of fact.
Okay, do we have a motion to amend the staff report?
Accept the amended staff report into
Accept
the
the
record.
amended staff report.
I would like to make a motion to accept the amended staff report
Into the record.
into the record. Thank you.
Do we?
I will second.
We have a motion and a second, but do we have a roll call vote, please?
Cynthia Hassel,
Yes.
Victor Lopez,
Yes.
Roger Brock,
Yes.
William Hutton.
Yes.
Kathleen Hill.
Yes?
5 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, motion passed.
Then,
Okay, so the staff has presented to you findings of fact. It has been noted that there is a technical correction under item 3A, and the question before the board is if they want to have any further amendments or they want to accept it as it has been amended.
okay, do you have any further amendments in regard to the proposed findings of fact that have been presented by the staff?
No.
Okay,
No.
do we have a
No.
motion to accept the proposed findings of fact into the record with the correction of, on item 3, parens A?
the motion would actually be to accept the amended staff report and the amended finding effect, and the proposed amended findings of fact as the findings of fact.
Okay, do we have that motion?
Mr. Poland,
Don't ask me to repeat it.
I accept,
Did you get it?
I accept what you said
Okay.
as the motion, please.
Okay, do we have a second to that motion?
Second.
I
We
tried to
have a
write it down,
second
but
to-
I
we-
couldn't.
We have a second to that motion. I'm sorry, I was at work all day, I didn't get to these things.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Okay,
So there's a second, correct?
we have a
Yes, there
motion
was
and
a
a second. Do we have a roll call vote?
It's a second.
Can we all point? Whatever.
This side of the chamber is getting pretty heavy.
Cynthia Hassel.
Yes.
Victor Lopez.
Yes.
Roger Brock.
Yes.
William Hutton.
Yes.
Kathleen Hill.
Yes,
5 ayes, 0 nays, motion passed.
okay, now could we have a motion into regard to Z-24-02, the developmental variance for the rear yard setback of less than 25 feet in C4? Do we have a motion to approve or deny?
I'd like to make that motion to approve it.
Okay,
I will second.
we have a motion and a second. We have a roll call vote.
Cynthia Hassel.
Yes.
Victor Lopez.
Yes.
Roger Brock.
Yes.
William Hutton.
Yes.
Kathleen Hill.
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, motion passed.
We will see you next month.
I want to thank you
Are you
for
sure?
this. And I assure you, we'll be back with all the necessary things that are required to move this project forward. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for
Thank you.
putting up with us.
I'm a little bit confused.
You are.
Oh, hey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, do we have, next item is any commissioners' comments?
No.
Nope.
I would like to welcome our two new members and welcome, what can I say? Good luck. Hope you enjoy this.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll be in touch.
It can get better. It can get
Thank you.
worse. Any staff comments?
No staff comments.
Any public comments? Any public comments from online people? Shall we adjourn our meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Do we need a roll call vote?
Aye.
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 Have a wonderful week.